Welcome to footballgameplan.com, where football makes sense. I'm Emery Hunt, the czar of the playbook, bring you a 2012 team preview for the Denver Broncos. We're going to start with their offense to see what we can expect from the Broncos this season. The Broncos went ahead in the offseason and grabbed future Hall of Famer Peyton Manning, and yes, he will dramatically improve the passing offense. Now, what we have to see is how healthy is he. He's been out a year. The neck hasn't really taken a pounding yet. And not saying that Peyton Manning takes a lot of sacks, but we have to see how he does in full contact. But if he checks out medically, this was a huge pickup for the Denver Broncos, and he's going to play at least another 5 to 6 years. This guy still has a lot of football left. He doesn't take a lot of sacks. He gets rid of the football, and he does, like I said before, improve your passing game. And they went ahead in the draft and got a guy in Brock Osweiler they're going to develop behind Peyton Manning. They're going to take their time with this guy because he's raw. He has the physical tools. He has a strong arm. He has the size you want. You just have to groom him into making the correct reads. So the Broncos went ahead and took a gamble on a guy that they have the luxury of grooming for a couple of years. Hopefully, Peyton Manning checks out so we don't have to see Osweiler in the near future. Every Broncos running back last year saw a resurgence in their game and also rejuvenated their career with the running game, none more so than Willis McGahee. He's out this year to show that last year's nearly 1,200 yards wasn't an aberration, that he still has a lot of juice left in the legs. I'm interested to see how well No-Show Moreno does in his return back from injury. He was on pace to have his best year as a pro, and he's recovered from an ACL injury, so I'm still not ready to give up on No-Show Moreno. I think he's a talented back. They also drafted a very good back in the draft in Ronnie Hillman out of San Diego State. This guy rushed for a gang of yards in college, has the quickness, has the ability to catch the football out of the backfield, also has the elusiveness that you want to see out of your running back. So I think the Broncos running back situation is very good. I also want people to keep an eye on Mario Fannin, a guy that played fullback in college, 5'11", 240 pounds, but has blazing speed. So keep an eye on him. And they also get Lance Ball back as well, a good swing guy that can play tailback in the pinch, but also is a solid blocker at the fullback position. Easily expect the numbers of the receivers to go up this year dramatically because of the fact they have Peyton Manning. And honestly, I don't think Peyton Manning has ever had this much size at wide receiver to throw the football to. That just makes life a hell of a lot easier for a quarterback. These guys have a wide range to catch the football. You look at Demaryius Thomas, 6'3", 230 pounds. Eric Decker is a guy that's 6'2", 220 pounds. Both guys do a great job of walling off defenders and going up at his highest point to catch the football. So they're going to have improved numbers over last season. And I'm interested to see as well the tight end position. They have a wealth of talent at tight end. They bring over Jacob Tamme, a guy that was coming along the last couple of seasons under Peyton Manning. And also they grab Joel Dreesen from the Houston Texans. This is another very good tight end. So the Broncos have some matchup problems for opposing defenses with these two tight ends and these physical wide receivers. And they also bring over Wily vet Brandon Stokely. That's Peyton Manning's security blanket from Louisiana, home of the Raging Cajuns. I have to throw that out there. But the Broncos receiving core will see a lot of improvement this year. I think they'll actually do fine and be consistent with Peyton Manning as opposed to last season. The Broncos are going to need two guys on this offensive line to have all pro seasons. Number one, center J.D. Walton, because of the fact that he's going to have to make all the calls at the line of scrimmage. He's going to have to get everybody lined up properly, and is going to have to protect Peyton Manning from interior pressure. And also Ryan Clady, the left tackle. He did a great job returning back to his Pro Bowl form, made the Pro Bowl last year, cut his penalties in half, did a great job of playing with discipline. He's protecting the blind side of Peyton Manning, so it's up to him to make sure that stays well protected and he doesn't allow a sack or even anyone to get close to that neck of Peyton Manning. Now, the rest of the offensive line, I have some questions about. I know there's some talent along the offensive line, but Tim Tebow last year masked a lot of their deficiencies. The offensive line had great grades as far as run blocking is concerned, but pass protection, they have to improve. Yes, they gave up a lot of sacks, and a lot of that can be accredited to a guy like Tim Tebow that held the football a little bit too long. But can these guys pass protect? They're going to be asked to do that more so this season as opposed to last. That's the biggest question mark. They do have talent. Like I mentioned before, Chris Cooper is a guy that I really like, a consistent player for this Broncos offensive line. They bring back Zane Beadles as well, and Orlando Franklin rounds out the offensive line. They have some depth. They drafted a guy in Philip Blake, a very talented player out of Baylor, so we're going to see how well he does, providing versatility at the center position and also the guard. And Ryan Harris, if he can get over the injury issues that plagued him, that back is a big problem. He also provides solid depth at the tackle position. The Broncos had 41 sacks last season, so we know they can get to the quarterback. Elvis Dumervil is one of those premier pass rushers that you have in the league. Robert Ayers did a good job last year of moving inside the tackle on pass rushing downs to provide that spark from the interior. People want to point out that they struggled against the run, and yes, they did struggle against the run. The reason why, they lost both their starting defensive tackles. That's why. Ty Warren returns, and he should instantly improve the run defense department. He missed all of last season, got injured in the preseason. And also Kevin Vickerson, he was on pace to probably make the Pro Bowl last year. He provides pass rushing opportunities, and I know getting those two guys back will instantly improve the run defense and also pass rushing. And they lose Broderick Bunkley. That's a huge loss, but that's why they go ahead and draft a guy in Derek Wolfe out of Cincinnati. Yes, he's a guy that they maybe reached a little bit for, but he's going to provide that depth. He's going to also provide that push on the interior. So this year, as opposed to last, look for the Broncos D-line to be vastly improved. What a great draft selection that was of taking Von Miller for the Denver Broncos. He led the team in sacks 11.5 as a rookie and also won NFL Defensive Rookie of the Year. There's no reason why he can't continue that performance. Some invoke the name Derek Thomas. You can see why. This guy has one mission, and that is to destroy the quarterback, and he does a great job of doing so. Opposite of him, you have Joe Mays. Did a great job last year in stuffing the run. He's one of those guys that always comes to play week in, week out. Some question whether or not he can play on third down. To me, it doesn't matter. Use him where he's strongest. That's on the first two downs in the down and distance. Now you look at Wesley Woodyard. He's going to come in and replace DJ Williams, who's serving the suspension for the performance enhancing drugs. And honestly, Wesley Woodyard played a lot better than DJ Williams. He may never lose this spot to Williams. And the depth behind these guys, you look at Nate Irvin, you also look at Mike Muhammad. Those guys should do fine if you have to take these guys off the field. Mike Muhammad is a guy that also excels in cover, so he may replace Joe Mays in those passing situations. And keep an eye on rookie Danny Trevathan. I'm a big fan of this guy. Reminds me a lot of Wesley Woodyard in the fact that he's smallish, always around the football, and was one of the premier players in the SEC for that Kentucky football team. I really like what I see out of the Broncos linebacking core. I don't think that's going to be a question. I think this year you're going to see improved numbers in the running game because of the return of those two defensive tackles. Even when Champ Bailey is 75 years old, he still will be better than most of the cornerbacks in the National Football League. This guy just gets better with age and still holds down his lockdown spot on one side of the field. On the opposite side, they bring over Tracy Porter from the New Orleans Saints. This guy has to stay healthy. The talent is there, but he has to stay healthy and stay consistent for 16 games. Now, keep an eye on rookie Omar Bolden. They drafted out of Arizona State. This guy provides a lot of playmaking skills, has interception skills, and also can make tackles. So I like the way he plays the cornerback position. They also have some solid depth guys. They bring over Drayton Florence from the Buffalo Bills, and keep an eye on Saquon Thompson, a guy that got injured last year in preseason, also has a lot of talent. Losing Brian Dawkins will be a huge blow to this defense. It was last year, as you saw, they couldn't eliminate mistakes in the passing game, but they bring over Mike Adams from the Cleveland Browns. He's going to help with alleviate some of that pressure off of Quentin Carter so he can get back to more of his playmaking ways. He struggled early on in the season, but got better as of late. The first guy off the bench is David Bruton. Did a good job of coming in replace of Raheem Moore, who I'm still highly disappointed at. I still think he has the potential to be a solid safety, but overall this unit has to improve. Corners, safeties, they have to get more than 9 interceptions. This was easy. Peyton Manning is the main reason for optimism, but all jokes aside, you also have to like the fact that they bring over Jack Del Rio to be their defensive coordinator. Huge pickup right there for the Broncos. Peyton Manning is also the cause for concern because you don't know how healthy he is when he takes that first hit and what level of play will they see out of number 18 this season. You also have to wonder how good can the running game be minus Tim Tebow. Peyton Manning asks a lot of the offensive linemen. There's a lot of concern here for the Denver Broncos just from one guy in Peyton Manning. I have the Broncos finishing third in the AFC West. I still have questions about the running game. I know the running game will take a step back this year because of the loss of Tim Tebow. I also have a question about the pass blocking of the offensive line. They didn't ask to pass block. They weren't asked to pass block a lot last year. This year, they will have to have their best pass blocking season of their life protecting Peyton Manning. Defensively, they will be in every game. I think this defense will be a hell of a lot better than it was last year with the return of Warren and Vickerson. So the defense will keep these guys in a lot of ball games. Learning a new offensive system is tough, but if anybody can get it done, it will be Peyton Manning. But right now, I have these guys finishing third in this division.